Hey, it's your girl Just Bree coming at you with another video. Feel free to hit the like, share, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Um, so I came on to talk about a couple different things. The first being, okay, so when it comes to dating at a particular age, I think that as women, we definitely need to be intentional when we're dating, period. I know that our early 20s, we're told to, you know, s- pretty much go out there and sow our royal oats like a man would, even though we're not men, and it's not the same. But society, modern society would like us to think that, women can just go out there and be hoes and it's not a problem. Um, so I said that to say, well, I don't know. I guess that's just something I had an opinion on. But also, I had a relative who, when you say men are dogs, when women come out and talk about men being dogs, a lot of that has to do with our choices as women, who we choose to allow to, impregnate us, that we marry, that we get into long-term relationships with. I personally um blame us as women for the type of men that we choose. Because it's a choice, right? It's not Nobody's forcing you to be in that relationship where you saw 15 red flags, but you still made up in your mind that you were going to look past that and, you know, um then once it doesn't work out, then it's I can't find no good men. Where the good men at? All men are dogs. They all locked up or in jail. Half of them gay, this, that, and the third. Now, while there may be some truth to that, to a certain extent, I mean, a lot of people pull from the 90s, the whole Oprah era and the Waiting to Exhale and the Color Purples. There are a lot of good men out there. And I know because I dated quite a few of them. But I wasn't ready to be a wife. Okay. I didn't carry myself as a wife. I, in my 20s, I had the attitude that, I never really thought about getting older. I never thought about um working as a team. It was always me, me, me. I just wanted what I wanted when I wanted it. I wanted a baby. I had a baby. You know, Unfortunately, at the time, now had the man pursued me and wanted me, that would have been fine. And it could have been a thing where we could have been a thing, but he did not pursue me, and that was fine too. You know, um to a certain extent, because I still wanted him to be a father to his son. And then because I did not vet him the way that I should have, you know, um, it didn't turn out to be, after the fact, I'm expecting a different kind of result when I didn't go into the situation with a particularly clear mind. I had an agenda. You know, um, I had an agenda. So, and the child, my son, was a byproduct of that agenda. And being that it didn't work out, I didn't, I didn't really care. I wanted the father to be involved. But during his, young years, his infant years to maybe about 8 or 9, no, I won't say 8 or 9, you know, um, let's say about 4 or 5, I never really, I didn't look at it the way that I see it now. My son's getting older, so, he's gonna try certain things, and um I've had to get the broom out, and because he's the same height as me, which I'm 5'7", just to let him know, like, listen here, buddy, we not doing that, you know. So I'm not gonna get into all of that, but I take on the fact I take accountability for the fact that, um it was a selfish choice to have a child by someone who I did not um plan a life with. Let's just say that. Now, he knew that I was not I I verbally stated I'm not on any type of birth control at all whatsoever. I made that 1,000% clear. Okay. So it wasn't one of those, well, you tricked me and you didn't tell me, and or you said you was on it and it didn't, and it failed and you lied, and this, no, 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 no. Wasn't none of that. Wasn't none of that. But it's the difference between that and sitting down and planning a life with somebody. So I take accountability for that. Now I said that to say, um, you can't rag on a man for something that he never really signed up for. Um, so with that, I'm gonna go into my next point, which is a story about prison bay. So I had a relative that, you know, okay, I'm a Christian, right? At least I lean Christian. I'm not saying like I'm a full-fledged, immersed in Christendom, but if I had to choose a religion, I would be a Christian. That's the way I was raised up, so on and so forth. I get everybody is not that. So I say that to say, you know, people, and this is no offense, but maybe offense, but no offense. People talk about spirituality and things of that nature. But it's like, where are you getting these principles from? Where are you getting your morals and ethics from? I don't really understand it. Not really trying to understand it, but okay. So I say that to say this loved one of mine, this relative of mine, she claims that she met this guy. Well, she met this guy, and she developed this spiritual bond, this connection that she just, it was so strong that she just could not, you know, handle it. She couldn't break away from it. It was just, it was so strong on her. It had such a stronghold on her that she just fell in love with this guy at the bar, or, after a few meetups or whatever. I don't know, you want to call them meetups or dates or whatever. And the guy has ghosted her on many occasions. Now, the story also gets a little shaky, a little iffy, because some things she claims she found out after the effect, and some things she claimed to know beforehand. So, for example, when she met him, she claims that he told her he wasn't married, or that he had got a divorce. Um, he had also just gotten out of prison. Okay. And he had to get paroled to his baby mama house. Now, the order in which all this happened, I don't know when she found out what when, but that right there is enough for me to say, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, that's what she felt, this strong energy, this strong pull towards, right? So I'm sitting there thinking, like, so I'm just listening, and um, so yeah, he got paroled to the baby mama house. He just got out of prison. Now listen, don't get it twisted. I have nothing against anybody coming out of prison. I know, or at least have heard of many, many of men who get out of prison who come home to do very well for themselves, go above and beyond, the threshold that anybody ever set for them. You know, um, my own cousin did 15 years for attempted murder. He been home. My son is 13. He been home roughly about 11 years now. Has not gotten a speeding ticket since that I'm aware of. Probably, but you know what I'm saying. He hasn't gotten into any trouble. I mean, he had to go. He stayed in a halfway house where they have very strict rules. And I had been with him, throughout the years, supporting him, taking him to different jobs of that nature when he had to go out there and do the job search while he was in the halfway house, all that, right? So anyway, I get that. And like I said, now he's successful. He's a master barber, work Wednesday through Saturday, nonstop. My son can't get a haircut in the first. Um Actually, I don't know how that ended up happening because we were so close at one time. But anyway, that's a whole other story. And I'm not upset about it, but I know he's super busy. Um, he has a kid and a fiance. Hell, they may have even got married. I don't know. We haven't talked in a long time, but I'm sure he would have told me that by now. But so, I say that to say I have nothing against somebody second, third chance, fourth chance, all of that. You know, now the second, third, fourth chance, maybe not with me, but you can go over there. But I'm here for second chances all day. I meant to say not third and fourth chances. Second chances all day long. I'm your girl. I will fuck with you all day long. If you trying to get your shit together. But this particular man, it was so many red flags. It's like, yo, you telling me this and he constantly ghosting you, ignoring your calls. I never even really brought up like, yo, do he have somebody else? Not knowing that he was with the baby mama. Um, but it's obvious if you got any kind of common sense that there is somebody else. You know, from the ghosting to the, not answering the phone, um, for a couple of days, telling you he gonna go somewhere with you and he not going for no particular reason, borrowing money from you, paying it all back except for $100, telling you about the moon, skies, and the stars, and I want you to do this so we can do that. Meanwhile, far as I know, she ain't told me he really got much going on. And then I'm like, well, is it this? I said, it's the sex, ain't it, girl? And she got offended. She like, nah, it ain't the sex. That's not even what it is. I just got a connection that I just can't explain. And I'm just like, a connection? What kind of connection? Girl. So I listen. I'm like, okay, you know, excuse me, 1 second, y'all. I gotta open these bag of M&Ms. Hold on. Need my chocolate. Just like candy. Y'all know my real name, Candy. Um, so anyway, I'm like, she keep talking about this connection. So, but mind you, he still ain't got nothing foolproof going on financially or, working wise. So, me and this relative went out to breakfast the other day. And, I'm just kind of like kicking it with her, like, well, what is really this connection? I'm trying to understand it, right? Because what happened was is the dude ended up getting busted by the baby mama slash girlfriend, whatever the hell she is. Never mind the wife that he still ain't, divorced from. So the girlfriend calls my relative, like, on some rah-rah shit, and she like, don't call me with that bullshit. So then they hang up. The girl call her back. She like, I'm sorry, this, that, and the third. But he here at the house now. All this drama. And I'm sitting here listening to this bullshit. And so the guy calls her back. Um, or the girlfriend makes him call her to tell her that, he had to break it off with my people. So my peoples was just devastated. And I'm just like, okay. So that's basically how the situation ended, right? Now, as men, if there's any men listening, which I don't, but anyway, if there's any men that's listening, this fire. Okay, now if I had to describe my people, she's a healthcare professional, a top healthcare professional, and she got a job offer to make 6 figures recently. Okay, let's just say that. I'm just gonna say she not a CNA. Okay, for sure, and she got an offer to make 6 figures. Um, super duper smart, right? Book wise, smart as shit. Pretty. Um, good mom. And I just feel like on paper, everything is gravy, and obviously she got a spirit of willingness to be a team player with her man, with what we would call ride or die. I know some people don't like that term because they like, I ain't dying for nobody, all that bullshit, right? But if we have to keep it simple, she a ride or die. She's just a ride or die for the wrong niggas, right? So as I'm questioning her, um, as I'm questioning her choices from a perspective of, I love you, I care about you, trying not to offend her, just ask him, like, okay, what do you really see in him? What did he have to offer? And what was it about him specifically that captured your attention? Lord have mercy. I asked her specifically because I'm trying to engage, in the conversation. I don't want to overdo it because, listen, she grown as hell, right? She got to make her own choices. But because okay, so let me just say this. So she goes, when I ask her for specifics, because mind you, again, this man has no job. I don't know what his plans are for the future, so on and so forth. She ain't said shit to me about it. Or other than he wants her to do X, Y, and Z so that they can do A, B, and C. But the burden is really on her, or the I guess the financial part is more so on her part, on her. He just want her to do the work so that he can just kind of like jump in. So basically it's a opportunist situation here. So ultimately, my point was you're too good to be in this situation. You deserve someone who is already established. Um and you don't need no build a bear. I guess that was my ultimate point that I was trying to make. And I kind of drew it out, and I came across as someone who was being judgmental, which I did not mean to be. Um because ultimately, she has to live her life for her. And I get that. None of us is perfect in, what we, in relationships. And I certainly have no room to give her any advice. But as I listen to content revolving around men and their needs and their wants, and things that women um kind of get misconstrued, and things that women look for that we get wrong on so many levels. So I was just trying to get a better understanding of her reasons behind this guy that she claimed to just be so in love with in such a short period of time. Okay. Now, mind you, she says, she's never going to tolerate cheating again. No man is going to cheat on her. She never wants to cheat again. But then, what I also found interesting was that she put it back on the girlfriend, okay? Which is what a lot of women do when they can't accept responsibility for their actions. It was constant. She kept talking about this other woman and how she's stupid and she stayed with him all this amount of time, supposedly 14 years, on top of the man being married, child, and so on and so forth. So I'm asking her in the most sensitive way that I can, like, well, don't you think he had to have said some things to her for her to have stuck around with him for 14 years? And it's like she taking the responsibility off the man, putting it on the woman, but then taking it off of herself because all of this, like, I just wouldn't even be a part of it. You get what I'm saying? Like, if now, granted, I've been lied to, I've lied, and I've been lied to, right? And one of my last situations, because I've been single for 3 years, and a guy I was dating, he ghosted me. Um, but it didn't start out fugazi. It didn't start out crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I didn't answer all the right questions and he lived out of town. So, um, but I mean, he had a career. He was coming to my city to go to work. He would stay in nice hotels, he had a nice vehicle. You know, I saw his work ID. And, I could only go by what he told me at the time. And we were just dating. And I wasn't like head over heels, but I was going with the flow. I'm like, shit, he cool, I'm cool, we chilling, he come, I see him, we see each other. We go out. I ain't really kicking it with nobody else. It's just me and him. I'm cool. Like this my, I'm feeling him, you know? So, and then when I approached him about spending more time talking on the phone just as a because of the distance, that's when he fell off, you know and I was like, okay. I wondered about it. I called him a couple times, he didn't answer, and I'm like, well, what the fuck did I say or didn't say, and for all I know, he could have had a whole wife. And in that situation, what I learned was that even though I asked him, was he married? And he said no, he was divorced. I said, well, shit, now I'm gonna have to ask to speak to the ex wife. I gotta ask to speak to the ex wife now, just to make sure you divorced. And I couldn't go to his house at the time. We had made plans. We were planning on, me visiting him, but he lived out of town. But I wasn't like, oh my God. I just feel like this relative so-called connection. People call it a soul connection, and it's really just lust. I mean, lust. Like, seriously, that's not something that God is going to bring to you. You know what I'm saying? And just dump on you like that so they could turn around and hurt your fucking feelings. Like, give me a break. Like, is that what she was trying to say? Because I was really confused. And like I told her, bitch, we too old to be trying to grow with somebody. And that's just it, and that's just all. If he don't come pre-assembled, bitch, like you are, because, you know, I mean, she's not perfect. She don't have everything together, but she got her, her professional career. And like I said, she caters to her man. Trust and believe, she will cater to her man. So that's not a problem. Um, it's just the trauma and the history that I'm not gonna get into that clouds your judgment. And when you pick from that pain that you have not worked on and gone to therapy for, you're gonna keep on picking this same kind of dude, you know? Because prior to this dude, the dude prior to this, cursed at her son, her 13-year-old son. And said some more other crazy shit, you know? And I think she really took offense, which I mean, we had smoothed everything out, but she was taking offense because I just could not understand how she just was so in love with this man that really did not his actions, did not speak for themselves. And in the end, she took it as, well, this is my karma, and I should have known better. He was married, this, that, and the other. But why are you still picking this kind of man? Like, why was he even an option? Is my question. And she talked about love, and I said, fuck love, which I mean that in the most respectful way possible, I guess, because I've learned that for me, and I know this is just for me and maybe some other women, but for me, and I guess I tried to explain in a way like I would rather respect my man first and then fall in love, or be friends first, which is, a lot of people tend to cultivate relationships and marriage um as friends first. Not this crazy, I don't know, it's a connection, it's spiritual. I don't know what it is. It's just something that I can't explain. And I'm like, bitch, at 44, you better be able to explain that shit. Because if you plan on getting married again, you can't keep doing this dumb shit. No. I'm sorry, I had to eat this. I'm sorry. These M&Ms is good as hell. Um, Especially wasting, I don't know, almost 15 years in marriage to a man that beat the shit out you and cheated on you left, right, front, and center. Bitch, you couldn't step to me unless you had it going on. You understand? Um, and then this whole thing, I have this thing about men moving in with women, which I know there are um exceptions, and I get that. The only thing that I disagree with, I guess, with men moving in with a woman is that a woman, if she doesn't respect you, she's going to belittle you, you know, um, in some capacity. That's why I think men should not move in with women, um, minus a few exceptions. And also, women will get the sense that, you know, that they're the, I don't know, it's like, do they feel like, do they become the head of household? And I don't agree with that. It just changes the whole dynamic unless it's done for a specific reason. But a man just moving in with you that don't have his own, and especially past 35, bitch. 35 and up, I I'm no. Especially because I date older anyway. Not so much now because shit, I'm already 43. With that, I'm gonna date a 70-year-old. Um, I said I would stop at 60. I would date up to a 60-year-old. So with that being said, like in my 30s, I would have dated, and I know it's just not about me, but you know, um, I just feel like past 35, you should be established and on your way. And if you're a woman looking for a man, and especially, I mean, you divorced, you got kids, and this man got to move in with you, and it just ain't no um other reason than I don't know, maybe because he just don't have his he moving from one girlfriend to house to your house, or to from his mama house to your house. No. If maybe he just had a one bedroom apartment and was just chilling, I mean, I guess. But then again, it's like we gotta find a house together, because but then shit. If you do that, you should be married or at least on your way engaged. I don't know. It's so many different dynamics out here. I guess overall, I just feel like this person is settling um way below, way below, and um and we just too old right now. And I'm not dating, and I'm still single, right? Um, I would say by choice, but I know Kevin Samuels. He would have said, "Now, can I get a man? Absolutely, right? Um, but right now, I'm choosing not to be out there, put myself out there for a few reasons. Have I been approached? Absolutely. Um, but I just wanted to talk about this particular situation because I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to be super judgmental. It was just a situation that I wanted to talk about. It has nothing to do with me. And well, why are you single? And look at you, you single, right? I get that. I know I'm single. I'm just asking the question, child. I just had some questions. Um, the next person that I do, and also I'll say this too about my experience with that person, the last person I was dealing with. Actually, it was two, because like I said, I was dating, and it was one after that one that lived out of town. Um, what the hell was I gonna say? So so what happened was the next guy, the final guy, before I had just stopped altogether. Um, he he ended up having somebody too. So I'm not saying this person, my people's, is like, well, you got to go through something and you don't know anybody, and you just don't know people, and da 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 da. So you're gonna have to go through it. And I get that people are going to come with shit, right? Now the level of shit depends. So anyway, the second story that I will tell in my dating life, past dating life, um, we had met, and he actually lived an hour away. The other one lived further away. This one only lived about an hour away. So he was coming to my city because he has a daughter and she was getting ready to give birth in a few months or whatever. So anyway, long story short, um I forgot where he said he worked at. And he had more kids than I would have cared to. He had at least 5, 6 kids. But I was intrigued, I guess you could say, and I wasn't really, I had no real intentions. Like I was just like, okay, I'm back out here dating. Let's see what's out here. Um. So anyway, we were sitting in his car, and he was smoking. Shout out to the weed smokers. And he was getting this phone call nonstop. So initially, I'm like, maybe that's his daughter, and he just would not answer. And then I was like, answer your phone. So he finally answered, and I knew he was lying to the chick. And I took it as though, because I didn't really take it too seriously. That's why I wasn't tripping. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of let him play himself, you know, get the rope, hang himself, whatever. So I hear him lying to the chick on the phone. He like, yeah, I'm at the casino. And I could tell she was like, I don't hear nothing. And they back and forth, whatever that he was saying to her. And I was just like, oh, okay. So I mean, I paid attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, that was a red flag, but at the same time, I was like, okay, you know, we're dating. We just kind of met. We just really met. Granted, I should have asked him about it, but I was so nonchalant for some reason. I was just like, okay, cool. Like, she just somebody that that's a part of the roster that just ain't fell off yet. She's still hanging on, you know. They still, they still probably get up every now and again and fuck. Like it is what it is. That's just reality. I don't trip. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, well, eventually she'll get the hint, if me and him start getting serious. But long story short, he ghosted me. He stopped texting back. And I was like, okay, cool. So then that was like winter. So my birthday came in June and he Facebooked me and he was like, happy birthday. Because I was still his Facebook friend. But I wasn't like checking for Facebook like that. And matter of fact, whenever I did look on Facebook and I see him, I just scroll right past him and I didn't really think about it anymore. And he sent me a happy birthday. And I'm like, are you serious? I said, yeah, okay. Whatever, dude. And I think I blocked and deleted him. Whatever. No big deal. I guess I say that to say, like, because I wasn't pressed. So, when my peoples was trying to make it out to be, well, look at you and you this, that, and the third, and you said this, that, and the other. And I'm like, but shit, I wasn't pressed. Like, I wasn't thinking about, he wasn't asking me for money or he wasn't making these promises to me and shit. And, he didn't ghost me. I mean, he ghosted me, but whatever. So, if you got any comments or thoughts about that, just put them in the comment section. I just wanted to share that story. I don't know, maybe get some feedback, see what y'all might think about that. So the next thing I want to talk about, somebody left a comment in my comment section about the whole Chrissy debacle, right? So let me see what Marissa said. So this person, I think this was Marissa. Yeah, this is Marissa's chat. Shout out to Marissa Star. This person, Latrice. Now, I said, okay, so this person said to in Marissa Star's comment section said, you really have a hard on for Chrissy. Make a video in your house and post your kids and let's see how you live. So Marissa responds, why? I'm not a vlogger. I do reaction and commentary. So then I said, guarantee if Marissa or myself chose to be vloggers, we'd be open to the same critique and or internet searches. You do realize this was Chrissy's choice to come on here and post her life. Those of us that have careers already didn't need YouTube to make a better life for our families. Now, don't get me wrong. If you become a top YouTuber, you're gonna make a coin and you can make a coin, but it's the amount of time and effort and energy you put into it. And I'm just not that chick that's gonna be recording my life for people to see. I don't, I you know I just don't think I'm that interesting, number one. So that's, I mean, that's part of it, and everybody not about that life. Everybody don't want to be famous. And if I did, I would think that if I was going to do that, that I would damn sure, try to make it to be one of the top in my either my niche, however you say that word. Um, I would try to be one of the top ones in the game and have much better content and more subscribers. Okay, so then I said, now the worst part of all of this is that Chrissy has been on for 10 years and hasn't flipped this shit into a milli when large families were and are technically huge on YouTube. It's still a good hustle, but Chrissy should hang it up because it's not working. Now, Elizabeth replied, why should she hang it up? And maybe I shouldn't have said that. At the end of the day, um, somebody mentioned, just keep doing food, cooking videos and cleaning videos. So technically I was wrong. She shouldn't hang anything up. I don't care what she do, to be honest. But actually, I really didn't mean that because I don't care. Um, Elizabeth said her numbers speak for themselves. The hate is real. She got 154K subs. You know, big deal. The numbers speak, but last I knew, she still has to move yearly. With 8 kids. So, child. I mean, I don't know how you can hate on someone that has 9 children by 7 different men, at least. Um, you know, and has so many other things going on. Like the hate about what? Followers? Girl. Now, listen, I might be a little envious if she had a real bag, but bitch, by the time you divide that up by 10 people, is that really a bag? Let's see. If she made 10,000 a month, shouldn't she be? What's that? 100,000 a year. So if she ain't making that, honey, it ain't nothing to hate on. For real. Like seriously. So then Latrice said, and even then I wouldn't hate. Like, I'm not a hater. And for a long time, I didn't pay Chrissy any attention. I heard all kinds of shit, but I really didn't get into it. Um, I'm only into it now because I am trying to grow my channel. So if I have to use her, use what I got to get what I want, baby. If I gotta use her a little bit, then shit, I'ma do it. The hell. So Latrice says she posts her life, but there's no reason to seek info that has nothing to do with you. Some of the reactors go so low for views, it's ridiculous. So I have no problem with that comment because I don't go around seeking shit. I'm only going off of what's been put out there. Now, I will say, at the end of the day, it could be anybody, including you, Miss Latrice, that may have went on um a website to order her police report. It could be anybody. So it could be anybody in LSA. It could be somebody in the bushes. Because for years, I just watched videos and never commented. And to be honest, I used to think y'all was crazy. I'm like, why do people comment? I just never understood the whole concept. And now here I am today with a reaction channel. so to speak. So, I mean, for years I just sat in the bushes. So, and I mean, and we all know it's a lot of people that really just don't like Chrissy. So anyway, she says you can gain traffic to your channel without solely doing reactions. Okay, yeah, you could. And if you're going to react, why not choose people who are showing positivity? Okay, why not choose people who are showing negativity? You could choose whoever the fuck you want, man. Especially if you deem the three mamas as drama, negativity, but people won't because sadly negativity gains clicks like the person. Yeah, just like Chrissy sat her fat ass up there when Demarcus left her barefoot and pregnant with 8 kids, and Boo cried because she knew that that would gain her traffic. So it's the same shit, but different, different scenario, whatever. So what she say? Gains clicks like the person said who showed said per what? Eh, oh my god, I can't talk. Go to your life. It's not a matter of receiving negativity. It's a matter of can your channel flourish without reacting on these women seriously. I don't know, maybe, maybe not. I mean, I started doing reactions on other things too, so who cares? I used to support reactors, but damn, lately you guys have sunk into an all-time low. Listen, ma'am, if some information is put out there, regardless of how it made it to the streets, oh, we're gonna talk about it, whether you agree with it or not. Um, it's now depending on what it is, there may be something that I may not talk about. And to be honest, I'm sure at least one or two reactors may have all kinds of information that they haven't spoken on. I'm sure it's people that can say a whole lot of other shit that hasn't been said, you know? Um, but as far as the report coming out and just reading off the report and giving an opinion, ma'am, it is what it is. It's public information. Somebody went out of their way, which I do not agree with because it's crazy to me. I just don't care enough. But now that it's out there, we choose to talk about it, sis. I used to support reactors, but damn, lately you guys have sunk into an all-time low. You're no different from the mothers you react on at this point because you're with the shits just the same and you're piggybacking off of them instead of coming up with your own content. I mean, nothing's really your own content, ma'am. The Bible say nothing new under the sun. So, I mean, hell. Um, there was another comment I wanted to address. Some of these are pretty good too. Yeah, says in a nutshell, she's less angry that he physically assaulted her than she was that a woman didn't know her, call her a bitch. You can tell because of the details that she goes on and on about. Chrissy is a liar and still doesn't have her own shit together. Men like my Rod and Demarcus are the types of men who will ever give her the time of day. She's still 17 at heart and will continue to attract other adolescent acting men until she decides to mature. Um, let's see. To be honest, I'm tired of talking about this bullshit anyway. So, but wait, I did want I had it was another comment. One more comment that I had wanted to mention. Let's see. Let's see. I think it was on Storm's page, to be honest. Somebody had brought up something. Let's see. Um.
Okay, so if you're thinking about going back to school, then I've got some exciting news for you. There's this new government program that will give
Oh
you up
wait,
to
here we go.
6,495.
Hush up, girl. I'm talking. Okay, somebody said she takes good care of her children. Oh, Sandra Miller says she takes good care of her children. Lady Leo said the harlot back on the prowl for her next victim. Why the kids never in the car with her? Even Jazz got a bigger ride for her kids. Yeah, Jazz knows she a minivan mom for life, child. Her and I will say, even Liv with that big ass boat she driving around with the mirror falling off. So, I made a comment and I don't know where it is. Child, the what you call it, YouTube be deleting comments. Trying to trade in the Tesla for a minivan shit. A mini long time ago. Um Z Lady said, I don't think 9 kids will fit in a Tesla. Honestly, I like Chrissy, but the lies and the lifestyle is giving big cat. Okay. Damn it. I had something else to say. And on that note, I think I'm gonna end this video here, child. And we're gonna